shaped over that prop helps your lower back settle in a little bit more. So feel free to give it a try if you'd like. Put your feet on the floor, your pinky toe towards the outside edge of the mat, and then just let the knees. Just let it out through the mouth. Again, inhale. Exhale deeply. And if you have any questions, or if you can't hear me, feel free to type it in the little chat box at the bottom. If my internet happens to go out, it'll come back. It happened once before, so just chill where you are and let me know, but let me know if you're having any technical issues. And just notice your natural breathing rhythm. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. If you haven't already, maybe take the hands either onto the belly or to the sides with some space between the body and the arms. And maybe the palms flip up and the elbows are relaxed. Maybe open up your mouth and move your jaw around. Let go of any clenching. And remembering that yoga is a practice. We're just coming into stillness. We call this relaxed wakefulness. And it is sometimes one of the hardest things to do. Maybe noticing that little whiff of air that comes in and out through your nose as you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. There's this little soft sensation, and you can always go back to that place and just follow that. Bring your awareness there as you feel that wave of your breath coming in and out. Bringing some awareness to your inhalation. Maybe you feel some expansion somewhere. Maybe it's in the belly or the chest. Just notice. And then bringing your awareness to your exhalation. And maybe notice it in the back of the body. Also noticing in the exhalation, there's sort of a sensation. Little by little, you're just letting your body land where it is. Maybe feeling a connection. To the earth, a little more grounding. And then we'll try a breathing exercise where we just count our breath. The idea is maybe to lengthen the inhalation and the exhalation by just counting. And we'll try the count of 5, but you certainly can change it to whatever is more comfortable for you. You can also bring the belly, or one hand to the belly and one to the heart, or just keep the arms exactly as they are. Take a breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then as you inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, make it less or more, whatever works for you. I'll continue, I'll switch it to 4. So inhale, maybe feeling the belly rise. 1, feeling an expansion up through the diaphragm, rib cage. 2, 3, into the chest, and maybe 4 all the way into the throat. Relax the shoulders as you exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a couple more at your own pace. And last time, coming back to your natural breathing rhythm. And then just noticing any physical sensations. Just letting the yoga meet you where you are this morning. And be curious and gentle with your body as you move this morning. Again, maybe using that beginner's mind. Say, think less and just go more. And then taking your left hand to your heart and your right hand on top. Take an inhale through the nose, soft exhale through the mouth. And then just take a moment to reflect on something that you're grateful for, at this moment. And then you can keep the eyes closed, but just take the arms, just let the elbows, the arms just drape beside you. Slowly letting the arms come to the sides. And then on your next inhalation, keep your eyes closed, but maybe open up the arms all the way above the top of the head and just let the palms float back. And then you can stretch through the leg if you have the knees bent, feet on the floor, just let one leg lengthen and then the other. If both legs are long, then maybe you just slither a little bit, reach back with the right arm, push through the right heel and switch side to side. Making sure that you're inhaling as you start to reach and then exhale once you get to that contraction. Feeling kind of a slithering motion. You can also lift one hip up as you're moving. Maybe you lift that right hip with you as you reach, and then the left. Make it a little more dynamic if you want to. And then floating the hands down to the sides. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Just hold underneath of the thighs and just draw the thighs in. If you want to make it more energetic, you can hold in front of the shins. Give yourself a little squeeze there. Otherwise, just hold in. Breathe for 3, 2, 1, and then place the right foot down, then the left foot down, and then again, lengthen the legs. Lengthen the arms up over the top of the head, and then let the feet, just roll in and then out like you're just rolling heel. And then maybe even shake the legs a little bit as you're flowing back and forth. Good. And then you're going to draw your chest. Let your left heel and foot go long. Let that stay there, and then feel as you draw the knee in, holding underneath the thigh or in front of the shin, either way. Just make sure it's back. Then you'll feel a little bit more length left leg. And then switch, placing the right foot down, sliding the heel long, drawing the left in, maybe holding underneath the thigh. Keep it gentle, or maybe you're feeling like you want a little bit more dynamic, then hold in front of the shin. And then go back and forth. So slide that left leg long, draw the right knee in. If you want to make it even more dynamic, then you can actually hover the opposite leg, the long leg, as you draw the opposite knee in. So it's up to you. Just make sure that you're not creating any more stress in your lower back. And If you would, if you don't have yourself on mute, if you would take a quick second just to mute yourself, that would be great. I think you are. I see everybody. I just can't control a couple of people that aren't already on mute, but thank you. Good. And then once you've done right and left, and you're good. Once, Kathleen, you're good. I just can't see a couple people, and so and I heard some music, and I didn't want it to be distracting for everyone, so we're all good. All right, and then draw both knees in towards the chest, and then hold underneath of the thighs. Draw the knees and the legs closer together, and then you can hold on top to the top of the knees, and we're just gonna roll side to side. So this is can be a very small range, or you can make it a little bit further and then also engaging into your core a little bit. So you're just gonna keep your hands maybe on the knees, the feet are together, the knees are together, and then you're gonna roll a little to the right and then a little to the left. Just rolling on your lower back a little bit, but then we're gonna move a little bit more dynamically. So you're gonna now open up the arms to a T and then roll the knees a little to the left, taking them maybe a little bit away from the chest so they're not totally hugged into the chest. And then keeping your eye gaze up towards the ceiling, keeping some awareness through the arms, the side body. As you're going to the left, let's say, you're gonna imagine that the fingertips are sliding away in the right arm and hand, and then switch to the other side. Stay on the right with the knees, reach through from underneath the arm. You decide how far away your knees are depending upon how that feels on your lower back. Don't take your knees all the way to the floor. Inhaling through the center, exhale. Nice and long again. And then bend into the elbows, almost like cactus arms or goalpost. And then let your feet float out and then in, out, in. Shake the legs again a little bit. And then we're gonna walk the heels over towards the right corner of the mat. Keep your elbows bent. You can slide the arms and fingers up towards above your head if you'd like to, but otherwise just keep them here for now. And then take that left foot and place it on top of your right foot. If you want to start taking your arms and slithering a little more over towards the right, turning into a little C curve or like a banana shape, feel free to do that. Lift your head a little bit and take your chin away from your shoulder. Give yourself some more space, maybe even roll your head a little side to side. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more nice deep breath. Exhale, and then uncross the left. Come back through the center. Bring your whole body into the center. You might even take a peek and just see your feet there. Shake the feet a little bit, and then we'll walk the heels over towards the left corner. Elbows are bent, and then you can lift that right leg, cross it over. That's just an option if that's not comfortable, or you can even try the bottom, but if that feels more comfortable for you. And then start to slither a little over towards the left side. Just keeping the arms open, shoulder blades on the ground, back of the arms on the ground. And feel that nice C, that nice curve, shape. Stretch through the side body of the left side, right side of the body, right side, sorry. Again, maybe just lift your head, take it away if it's tucked in towards that shoulder. And then breathe. Let that inhalation broaden and expand the right side of the body into that stretch. And then exhale, kind of surrender into that pose. One more nice deep breath in. Exhale out. And then walking the feet, coming back through the center. Nice and long, stretch the legs, take the arms up over the top of the head. And then you're gonna walk your heels, taking your knees up towards the ceiling, like bridge pose. Arms are to the sides with the palms facing down. And then just check and make sure your feet are facing forward, the toes aren't coming in towards each other. You have a nice foundation with the heels underneath of the knee. And then tilt your pelvis a few times. So basically tilting forward, the belly lifts up, exhale, tilting down. You feel that connection with the lower back to the mat, and then go back and forth a few times. Try to relax the shoulders and the face, no over efforting. Good. And then notice your natural or neutral spine. Maybe shake your hips, push one to the front and to the back and forth, sort of wiggling around. Any fidgeting you need to do, and then take your left hand and see if you can slide it underneath of your lower back. So you want to have some natural curve there as opposed to pushing the back down towards the ground. You'll notice when you do push the back down, everything kind of comes chin towards the chest. And you want to keep that neutral spine. Take the hands to the sides, engage the feet, think about the mound of the toes and the heels, and then just lift your hips up just enough so that they're off the ground. Again, you can slide your hand down underneath there just to see. And then bump the hip to the right, bump the hip to the left. Think about your hips as like a hammock, just a nice sway back and forth. You don't have to go very high, just maybe you can imagine you're just bumping hip to the side. Inhale, take a lift a little bit higher, and then a lower down. Relax the shoulders and see if you can come back into that natural spine. If you have a block handy, you're welcome to use the block in between the knees, or a towel or a book, and squeeze the block so the inner thighs are connecting with that block. Engage the feet again. If you don't have a block, just imagine that your inner thighs are moving towards each other. They're not actually going to touch, but you're squeezing them, imagining you're squeezing them towards each other. As you rise up, big inhalation, exhale, come down. Don't worry about how high you go. Use your inhalation as your cue. So at the end, you're inhaling. At the end of your inhalation, stop there. And then exhale, come down. It's up to you how much you want to squeeze into the block or the inner thighs. It makes the inner thighs and the much more engaged, and then lower down. This time we're going to take the arms up over the top of the head as we lift. So inhale, feeling the hips come off the ground. Arms are slowly coming over the top of the head. Reaching back, and then exhale, floating the arms and the hips down to the rhythm of your exhalation, inhalation and exhalation. Good, and you don't have to squeeze the block the whole time. You can certainly just keep it engaged so it doesn't fall. And then exhale down. Keeping the hands to the sides. If you do have the block, keep the block away. Take it one time without the block. And notice how without the block or that idea of squeezing the inner thighs, sometimes your knees want to kind of sway out to the sides. And then exhale. This time keep the hands down to the sides. Lift the chin a little away from the chest. Press through the feet. Take your bridge pose here. And then imagine the hip points, these hip bones. Like think about them flaring up towards the ceiling like headlights. And feel a nice broadening through the chest. Breathe into the upper back. And exhale, come down. Nice. Take a moment there. Take your feet a little bit wider so the pinky toes go towards the edges of the mat, and then drop your knees towards each other. Float your palms facing up. And then just take a moment there to integrate those movements and integrate your breath. Nice. All right. And then we're going to take a little strength pose into our hips. Some of you have done this before in my classes and either love it or hate it. I'm not sure. So come back into your bridge pose. I'm imagining that you've either done a lot of walking or a lot of exercise or a lot of sitting, and this will help strengthen a little into your hips. So you're going to inhale and then come up. Don't come to your fullest expression of your bridge pose. Lift the back of your head, lift your chin as you set your head back down. And then I want you to walk your right foot in just a tiny bit closer and your left foot in a tiny bit, maybe not even an inch towards the center. And then you're going to shift the weight onto that right foot. So feel that foot engage more than the left foot, right? So you're just taking the weight a little bit out of that left foot and leg, and then switch, press into the left, and then go back and forth a couple times. And notice as you the hips up and you're shifting that weight slightly, how different it feels in your hips. And this time we'll do it again, or keep hips up and pressing through the foot. Think about maybe using your upper back and back of your arms, and then let that left foot float down, relax a little bit, press the hips up, use the strength of your hips and your legs, and then you can hover that foot. And when I say hover, just a tiny little cramp in the back of the thigh, then put the foot down and rest. Good, both feet are down. You're gonna lower the back down. As you pull the hips towards the heels, you'll start to feel those shoulders coming towards the ears. That's okay for now. Lift the head, and then as you lift the head, slide the fingers forward towards the front of your mat, and then let your head come back down. Open up the arms, take them out to a T. Take the feet a little bit wide towards the edges of the mat. Take an inhale through the nose, exhale. Good. And then just slowly drop the right knee, maybe 30% of your full range, and then inhale, come back through the center, and then take the left over towards the left side, drop the left, and then let the right follow. Windshield wiper a little bit. Try to take it slow, 3 times on each side, and then if you want to take a wider range, once you've gone 3 times on each side, you can certainly explore that. You can also explore taking the head in the opposite direction of the knees. But make it nice and soft and gentle so it's more like a massage for the back instead of a big stretch. Good. And then if you want to move into a bigger range, if you want to stay on one side, if that feels good, if you have a prop and maybe the hip isn't, almost there, but not quite, just stick it underneath the thigh or keep moving. And eventually we're going to come up to a comfortable seat. So bring the knees back together and then slide one leg forward. If you're staying in the twist, feel free to stay there. And then slide the other leg, widen the legs long. They're nice and long. Widen the legs towards the side corner in front of you. Take your arms out to a T and then slide the arms out into a Y. Take a big breath in and exhale out. And as you do that, take it 3 more times. As you do that, notice when you really let go, maybe one side of the body or one arm sort of slides down. If it's sliding down, then take that other arm and let it meet, right? So that you feel more centered, more comfortable probably. Good, and then you can bring the knees in. You can hug them into the chest if that feels good. Maybe lift them and take them over to the right, roll over to the left side, and then coming up to a comfortable seat. And then sway a little side to side once you're there. And if you want to sit up on a prop or on the blanket, like either on a bolster if you have one at home, or you can sit up on a blanket or roll a towel or a couch cushion, is fine too. Is everybody doing okay? I'm checking, make sure you are still there. Yay. A couple people can't get in, which is not good, but I don't know how to fix that right now. All right, so once you come, just sway side to side. Maybe give yourself some motion, hips swirling around can be good too. Just kind of notice now you're in a different orientation with your spine. You can sit cross-legged in Sukhasana, or you can take the feet more in this position, or you can always take the legs long. You know, kind of notice what feels good for you. And then we're all going to rise. So Fridays, I said maybe it would be a little bit more energetic and incorporate some strength poses. So if you feel like pulsing the arms a little bit and then flipping them up, pulsing there, feel free to do that. Or just reach through the fingertips. Imagine that you're getting a big stretch right here. The head, try not to crunch into your shoulders. And keep that nice broad space across the chest and collarbone, but not tensing anywhere. Yeah. All right. And then stretch your fingers, flex your palms up towards the ceiling. And then imagine maybe you have some resistance as you're keeping the shoulders in the sockets, but you're rising the arms up over the top of the head. And then exhale, bring the hands down towards heart center. Relax the shoulders. And then check in and see if you might be leaning forward or backwards. Keep the shoulders right over the hips if you can. And then find a place where you can find some ease. Close your eyes. Take an inhale through the nose, let it out through the mouth. And we're going to lift the arms up. As you lift the arms up, cross your right, doesn't really matter which one, we're going to switch them out, but right wrist, left wrist is on top. And then as you come down, maybe round, think of your cat stretch, just letting your hands fall to the wrists, or excuse me, to the thighs or the knees. And then we'll inhale, come up, bring the arms all the way down. And a nice big wide switch so that the other wrist is below, and then take a little rounding. So you can just round into the upper back and feel a nice, just motion with the upper back, or you can scoop the belly and make it more dynamic. Just check in with your back and see how that feels. Right, so inhaling as you come up, switching wrists, and then lowering down. Use your inhale to come up, nice and broad. Exhale. When you exhale and your fingertips touch the sides, you really want to feel that in the shoulders, shoulder blades dropping down towards the earth. And then just keep going at your own pace a few more times, inhaling up and down. Good. And then once you've done both sides, you can relax the shoulders. And then we'll take the legs out long for Dandasana pose, but give yourself a little massage on the legs. So maybe you want to bend the knee, you can get all the way into the foot if you want to, but use your finger pads to create some friction here. Some people like to pat, and that's fine too. And then lengthen that leg, drop the leg down and bend the knee. You can either do this forward folding if you want to get more into the hamstrings, or you can bend and just focus on some nurturing of the leg. And in the morning, sometimes I do this in the morning if you feel like your knee is a little stiff or your ankles, just if you do this, it warms up the circulation. And then flex into the feet, take your thumb and your first finger, and you're just going to slide them right into that hip crease, and then press down and lengthen. Relax the shoulders. Pretty active in the feet because you're flexing, your toes are facing up towards the ceiling, and then you can relax. And then we'll draw the feet in, take a little Baddha Konasana pose here. So the feet can be further away. Too far, I can't tell because I'm not on big screen. Hold on one second. I want to make sure you can see what I'm talking about. So your feet will come towards each other, and then you can slide the feet further away, or you can slide the feet towards one another. It's up to you. Kind of check and see. Remember, you're a beginner in this pose, so you're like, okay, let me explore here and see how that feels. It's a stretch through your adductors here, the thighs. And you're keeping a nice tall spine. Lots of options here. You can forward fold, but keeping the idea that there's a string on your sternum pulling you maybe up at an angle towards the ceiling, as opposed to rounding and going further towards the feet. Then you're pulling into your lower back. We don't want that. You can certainly slide the feet closer together. Sometimes people like to rock. Just be in your own body, using your inhalation and exhalation. Find some softness. Even closing your eyes is good. Oh, I think Therese, hello, and Melissa. Good, good, good. I finally figured out how to see all the participants. Betsy, Colleen, awesome. I'm so glad you guys are here. All right, then you can open up, stretch the legs long again. If you are sitting up on your blanket or towel or your bolster, you know that you can kind of tilt, scoot yourself to the edge, and it will drop your legs a little lower than the hips. Different angle can feel really nice. So now we're going to cross the legs in the opposite direction. It's been a while, so we've done a few things in between, so you kind of have to, if you forget, usually you can tell. You're like, oh yeah, did that side feels different. So come to your Sukhasana again, or keep the legs long if you did before, or use props underneath the knees if you have blocks. These are really nice to support the thighs. I think I'm going to keep them here for now. And then we're going to inhale and reach. So this time we'll take a little bit of a twist. So you're going to take your right arm and you're going to swirl it around, making a big circle. Maybe you even use your eye gaze to follow the fingers. Inhale, flipping the palm, and exhale. A couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Nice opening, broad, and you're using this other hand just as a little kickstand. So try not to sink into it. Press away from the ground, reach, and following the movement. Sometimes it can make you feel a little dizzy, so feel free to stop. But this is really good for your equilibrium and kind of rewiring your brain a little bit. All right, and then just notice how one side or the other feels a lot more open on this shoulder, and then take it to the other side. So, or your opposite side, left arm or your opposite. But just remember to rotate, healthy rotation on your shoulder, making sure that it feels good. You should feel this in the back of the body as well, and you're still breathing, right? So even closing your eyes and thinking less and feeling more. Big inhalation and exhalation. Nice, come back to the center. Reach your right arm up, and then just let that hand float down and fall wherever it goes. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. Wherever your hand goes, stay there. Take the opposite hand, maybe it's your left, and then you're going to tent the fingers, roll that shoulder back a little bit, and take a little twist here. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, you soften and you twist. So you can continue to take your eye gaze around if that's healthy for you, or you can tuck the chin and take it the other direction. Kind of explore there, making sure that you're breathing and you're not feeling like you're trapped in the pose, that you're finding some ease somewhere in the pose. One more nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it out. And then inhale, reach that right arm up. Take that hand, tent both fingers behind you, and then lift the chest. Imagine that you're broadening, that inhalation is opening through the heart space, lift the chin, and then exhale, come back to the center. Take the opposite arm and swirl it around one time. Take it down, inhale it up, start to rotate, and then let that hand fall wherever it goes. You can always inch your way to a little more opening as you use your inhalation and exhalation. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, relax. Maybe opening a little bit more, rotating the shoulder behind you. Taking those fingers, tenting the fingers is nice. If your palm can flatten, that's fine too, but try to find some ease. Try not to over effort, and stay and breathe. Good. And then coming back around to the center, we're going to find our way onto our hands and knees, but take your time. Make sure that you do it I remember in the class training I was doing, I remember the teacher said, pay attention to how you land on your mat. Pay attention to how you get from pose to pose. You know, are you pushing the things away? Are you feeling lightness and they're gracefully moving? So check in with yourself. And then once you're on your hands and knees, I'm going to move back a tiny bit. I want you to pay attention to your hands for a moment. Tent your fingers. This is what I was talking about tenting your fingers. And then pressing, as you press, imagine that you're pushing forward into your fingers and then landing with the wrists. Maybe just a little, it's like a tiny little squeeze so that you're not pressing all of the weight into your wrist. Yeah, and then bringing the knees right underneath of the hips. Check and make sure your feet are directly behind you. And then as you inhale, feel that heart lift. And then exhale, just a nice cat stretch. Use this as a moving meditation, so don't worry about how it looks. Just imagine when you inhale, you're trying to shine your heart forward. You're keeping a neutral neck. We're not looking up or even forward, just slightly forward of your mat. And then as you exhale, instead of thinking about pushing the back up towards the ceiling, think about broadening through the rib cage as you inhale and exhale. It can be really nice and soft. Doesn't have to be big and dramatic. And then come down, come onto your forearms, keep your shoulders and elbows in line, and then just shift back and forth. You can go forward and back, making sure that lifting your belly up and in a little bit. Nice. And then coming back onto our hands and knees, we'll do a little strength here. And these are just options. So a lot of you have long time practices and you do whatever it is that you need to do. If you want to explore this, that's great too. So checking with your hands, use your whole hand as you lift the energy away, right? And don't just press down into the wrists. Use the fingers. Imagine pushing forward slightly and then dropping a little into the wrists. You're going to lift your knees and hover. Your toes are curled, and lift the belly up and in a little bit. So try to lift away from the ground as opposed to sinking into the joints and just worrying about the knees. This is super painful. Inhale, lift, draw the belly in. Good, come down. Try it 2 more times. Inhale, you can also do this on blocks or maybe even on your wrists if you're, on your fists. Inhale, lift, and then exhale down. Gets a little fire in your belly. So inhale 1 more time. Pull that belly up and in. Think about your sternum lifting a little bit forward, broadening through the back, the upper back. Come down. Woo-hoo. Come down with the palms facing up and just tap the fingers a bit. Open and close, some circulation to your fingers. Right. And then you can also use blocks here in this next pose that we're going to do. You're going to take your left leg back and just enjoy that little stretch there. You can bend into the knee, take it nice and gentle. Again, try not to sink into your joints. Lift, incorporate the whole body. Good. And then the next thing we're going to do is lift the leg up. So if you're on blocks, it's not going to go too far up before it starts to crunch into your lower back. So make sure that you don't go any higher than the hip and then rotate the hip down. Again, don't sink into your wrists. So explore that option if you would like. And keep that leg back. Think about balancing here. So one option is to traditionally take your bird dog pose this way, but I'm just going to switch so you can see what I'm doing on the side. You're going to play around with taking your fingers just to your ear, not behind your head, just to your ear, elbow out straight, right? And flexing into the foot and maybe just drawing the elbow in and out. You're reaching away, you're pulling your belly in so you're not all just on your wrist. Or you can explore bringing the knee, sliding it in and out. Good. Wherever you are, you can come down. I can't hear you because you're muted, but hopefully you're not cursing at me. All right, and then just shake your hips a little side to side. Slide the opposite leg back, reach. You can always shift the weight also back a little bit if you feel it too much in your wrists as well, but maybe try letting the wrists, or taking that, tenting the fingers and then kind of finding your shape there, pressing away. A little tiny activation into the fingertips, squeezing, and then a little softness. Lift the leg, rotate, down, flying around here, and breathing or adding that bird dog. If you want to play around, feel free to do it a few times and then switch to the other side, or if you want to do the arm, the elbow, and the knee, just take your fingers to your ear, fingertips to the ear, and then you can just bring that elbow down. Inhale. Or bring the elbow in. Elbow and knee do not need to come near each other. Pull the belly up and in. The balance challenge, it's a lot. And then come down. Now you get to go back into child's pose or to puppy pose. Give yourself a little breather. Check in with your breath. Come back to that breath, that calming breath. So puppy pose. Hips stay high, and then stretch into the back. Extended child's pose. Take the knees wide, toes come towards one another. I oftentimes will use a blanket here. Feels really nice. Give me a little extra cushion, bringing the ground up, and then stretching. You can make it as active or as restorative as you would like. You can just relax into the arms, or you can stretch through the arms. So take 8 breaths wherever you are in those poses, either one, whichever you choose. Reconnecting. Just noticing. Coming back to that beginner's mind, that curiosity. Just remembering that yoga is not the gatekeeper, it's the door opener. So the more connected that we are to ourselves and what our needs are at every moment, how we react, how we do with change, how we learn, are all things that help us keep more balanced and flexible physically and mentally. So come on up wherever you are. And unfortunately, as usual, I run out of time. We're not going to end up standing today. So let's go back down onto your back and we'll do some hip things. So go ahead and roll down onto your back, taking the arms out to the sides. Notice now how it feels to be back onto your backs. Take a nice deep breath in. Take your right arm underneath your left and then just give yourself a little love here. So let the elbows relax, and that might mean sliding the arms a little bit lower down towards your biceps. You don't want to stop breathing by squeezing too hard. If your fingers are in a place where it could feel really nice to have a massage, then just give yourself that time to massage into the neck, into the shoulders. Good. And then open up the arms like you're taking a big stretch. Lift the head, tuck the chin, and then lengthen the back of the head. And then soften. Find that neutral spine. Make sure you're not pressing your back down. Take the left elbow this time underneath the right or your opposite. Again, you can give yourself a little massage there. And then lower down. Bring the arms out to the sides. Widen the feet. And you can slide the soles of the feet. Again, this is an option to take a little bit of a hip opener again, that Baddha Konasana, but this time lying down. Again, if you have some props, you can slide them underneath. That helps if you're feeling some strain. This is typically not a super comfortable pose for me personally, so I always use a prop, but it's just a different sensation than when we're sitting. So sort of experiment there. So that's just an option. You don't have to do that pose. You could also take your hands, slide them underneath your lower back, right underneath your bum, and widen so that you're resting on the sort of the fleshy part right here between your first finger and your thumb. And you can lift the legs up, relaxing into the shoulders. You can also do this on a block if you have a block. So you don't want it to be painful for your arms and your hands. Kind of find where is a comfortable spot. Just letting the circulation move in a different direction. Feel free to rock your head a little side to side. And then lifting up a little bit so you can slide those hands out. Open up the feet, flex into the feet, and then draw the knees towards the outer edges of the body. You can do this one at a time. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch, you can reach and draw that knee to the outside edge. So it's like a half happy baby pose. You guys can see. And then you can actually roll, let this knee, this opposite knee roll out. So if you want that big stretch, feel free to take that. Otherwise, stick with the happy baby pose. You can make it wider. Your happy baby pose if you would like. Relax. In this case, the lower back is down. And rock a little side to side. You can also just draw the knees closer together. Let the feet float towards the ceiling, but keep everything soft and more of a rag doll. Let the head sway in the same direction. Right? So in every pose, there's so many amazing modifications, which is why I love yoga, because there's so much, but it's so beneficial and powerful. So if you did do the big stretch, make sure you take it on the other side, behind the thigh, reaching up towards the ankle or the foot, and then drawing that knee, not just out to the side, but in towards the side body, just to the outside. And you can let that rest. And if you're in happy baby pose, bring the knees towards the chest, underneath the thigh, head up for a second, or squeeze into a little ball with the shins, and then lowering down nice and slow. Take the feet down to the floor wherever you are. Take the feet a little bit further in front of you, pinky toes towards the outer edges of the mat, and then draw the knees towards each other. Arms can go to the sides. And take a nice deep breath in. Let it out. And then we'll move into Shavasana here. And we have about 5 minutes. And I can certainly give you another minute or so since we had to check in the beginning. But and then I'll stick around for a few minutes afterwards, just so you know if you have any questions or just want to say hello or hello to someone else in the class that you know. But find your way into your Shavasana if you need to put a blanket over you or put your sweatshirt on, or under your head. To make your way into your Shavasana, you can start with that bolster or blanket underneath your knees. And really giving yourself this time. So I know sometimes on watching online videos, We're kind of, sometimes we feel like, oh, no, I'll do that later. But this is really like the creme de la creme in your practice. Is giving yourself time and really to let the body absorb all that you have just done. All of that breath expanding and offering you more ease, less tension. If you haven't already, maybe close the eyes, let the arms just float to the sides with some space between the body and the arms. Legs can be long, or you can stay in that constructive rest. Take a breath in through the nose, just let it out through the mouth. Imagine that the breath is softening your cheeks, just letting the skin drape off the bone. Softening through the throat. There's a lightness and also a opening, more opening through the chest area. Feeling the breath softening in the belly. A little more release through the hips. Breath flowing through the legs, just to let go of the quadriceps, the kneecaps. Softening all the way down through the tops of the feet. Feeling the back body. Maybe a little more grounding. Feeling heavy, just with the gravity. Breath moves down through the spine. Releasing into the lower back. Down through the back of the legs. Softening and perhaps making the heels a little more heavy. Feel a sense of freedom in your body and ease in the moment. Just enjoying a few more minutes for your own mind, body, and spirit. Slowly bringing yourself back into the room. Just keep your eyes closed. And maybe wiggle the toes or rock the head a little side to side. Some soft awareness, bringing yourself back into the room. You're welcome to stay there as well if you'd like. Just mute me or close your computer and stay in a long shavasana. Otherwise, taking an inhale and drawing the knees towards the chest. Rolling over onto your right side, but just stay there for a moment. And placing your maybe hands on the heart, if that's comfortable. And taking a moment of gratitude, something that arises for you right now. And slowly coming up to a comfortable seat. Again, just take your time, no rush. And once you're there, just let the arms float up towards the ceiling. Bringing the palms together, exhale, bringing the hands to the heart. Just tip the chin, relax the shoulders. Close your eyes and just take a moment there. And then if you'd like to, I'm gonna unmute you all. And feel free to join me in an Om. First, I'll just read our Words of Wisdom by Judith Lassiter. One more time, and maybe carry this with you. We begin again every day. Every day you are a beginning yoga student. Begin again right now. All right, so I'm going to unmute you, and if you'd like to join me in one Om, feel free, or just listen. Let's take the arms up over the top. Take a nice deep inhale. Place the palms together, bring the hands down to the heart as you exhale. And we'll take an inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and inhale to Om. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat. I'm so happy for your own self-care for today and for all the people that are going to be around you now that you feel hopefully better and more nourished. And you can check the Facebook page, Easy Yoga Cafe Facebook page, or Instagram. Basically, they post